So I'm going to bring all of these together. So just make a merge node first. Select them all and just connect them up like that. Okay, and they'll all be overlaid on top of each other. You can kind of see them. Should be able to see them under the. You can see all the wheels there. Okay, and as per usual, I like to drop a connectivity that will give me this class attribute. I'll do it on the primitives. Okay, and what else? Let's drop a clean, because I can see there we've got some kind of weird floating points, so that by default will remove those unused points. You can see these here, and there they go. Great, and then let's bring it down to scale. So I'm going to drop a transform. Okay, and before I do that, let's object merge in the road so we can use that as a sense of scale. Okay, so in the bridge sim we've got out road, not road fractured, we don't need that, it's just the road geometry itself. Okay, and that's at the scale that we simmed it as well. So if we do that, obviously they are quite a lot too big, so let's start bringing this down. 0.1, 0.1, getting close. Let's see if we so on these roads we should have, that's 2 lanes. Okay, we could temporarily, I'll drop another transform just to put it on the road, and then sorry, there we go. So again, yeah, this is just for kind of visualizing how it looks. So that's still too big, I would say. Okay, because we need to be able to, really should be able to fit 2 of these on the lane. So let's go down bits like that maybe. Okay, I think that looks good. You could just about fit 2 of them and then 3 on this bottom one. So that's about good. I'll delete this. Okay, so now we're going to start working on the points that we're going to use. So we're going to be scattering points to and then copying this geometry onto those points. Okay, so on our bridge, the Brooklyn Bridge, we have 2 lanes on these top roads. Okay, 2 lanes here, 2 lanes here, and 3 at the bottom. And we need a direction. So we need the cars kind of and trucks, lorries and so forth going in one direction on 2 of these. It doesn't matter really, this one and this one, or this one and this one, and then in the other direction on the other. Then I also want a bit of randomization, so a little bit in the position, but so we need 2 lines of points in this direction, 2 here, 3 here, and 2 there, equally spaced, but then with a little bit of kind of jitter, so they're moved a little bit. I want them to have some rotation, a little bit of rotation, randomized, pointing in this direction, but a little bit randomized in terms of the orient. And also they need to follow this kind of, there's a very subtle curve. Okay, so we need the normals of this surface so that when we, if we copy a car onto this part, it's not kind of level, and then when we start simulating, it drops at the back all of a sudden. All right, so there's a bit of work to do that. So first of all, these are they're very thin, but they are boxes, this 3D geometry. So I'm going to get rid of the bottom. So very handy thing in the delete node. If we delete by normals, enable that, and then a normal will be Y, and then bring the spread angle down. Okay, like that, and there we are deleting non-selected, so there we grab just the top. I'll bring this all the way down, just making sure we haven't got, because it's quite thin, just make sure we haven't got any little bits here on the end. There we go. Now I'm going to drop a poly split here. Okay, and here what we want to do is do this by edge loop, I want so 5, I think, for the bottom one. Okay, and then if I just come here, click there, so I'm going to be using this to, these are going to be my lanes, right? So that's going to be one row of cars, another row, and another row here. All right, and then let's do another one. So here we don't need 5, we need 3 for the top 2. And then, oops, if I change, what's happened there? Ah, okay, I just need to make the selection here. It's doing it on the same place, I think, because there we go. It's the split location. So do that there. And then can I just use the same node here? No, I'll need to alt click and drag to make another one. Okay, get rid of that and then just do one more. There we go. I'm just hovering over and clicking there. I'm not, you know, nothing else on the keyboard. And there we go. So we need to isolate those edges now, those edge loops. Okay. So to do that, we drop a, well, we just select them. So come into your selection tool and then points. And then the easiest way to do this is if you press Shift and A, click on one point. Okay, so we want this edge loop, and then go to the next point along that loop, or well, any point along that loop actually, and then middle mouse button click, so on the scroll wheel, and that will grab the whole edge loop. Okay, and then I'm just holding down Shift and A, click, middle mouse button. So you see, notice the ones I'm selecting there. These are my 2 lanes of cars. Click, middle mouse button, click, middle mouse, and click, middle mouse, and then these 2, click, middle mouse there. I can't see the first one there, but that doesn't matter. I can click this one, middle mouse there, and that grabs all of them. Press delete on my keyboard with the mouse here in the scene view. Okay, and then delete non-selected. And there are my rows of cars. Okay, so we could just copy cars to this, but it would be much too regular. Okay, if you think about, the idea is that the cars have been left on the bridge, you know, people have panicked, maybe there's like an earthquake or something going on, and people have just kind of, the cars have maybe moved a little, tried to get around each other, but everyone's got out and ran away. So there's no people there, the cars aren't moving, but the cars have just been left kind of as if they're in like a traffic jam maybe. So we need, so I want to scatter lines across these, scatter points, sorry, but now we've just got points, we don't have the primitives. So to bring them back, connect adjacent pieces. Okay, just like that. And we need to bring the search radius up a bit. That should, oh, and sorry, adjacent points is what we need. There we go. So we got lines there, but I don't want to be scattering points kind of on these horizontal lines or these diagonal ones here. So we need to be able to select the lines that are going in this direction. And when we can use to get an attribute which tells me the kind of direction of the line is, if we drop a resample, okay, and then just check this tangent attribute. Okay, so the tangent is like the vector of the direction of the polygon or the primitive in terms of, you know, Houdini language. And then we're going to be deleting again based on that tangent, right? I think maybe we should be able to visualize it. Where is it? Tangent U. So yeah, you can kind of see it's just setting a color for us there. Let's see if we can. If we change this to a marker, and then we want a vector trail. There we go. So you can see it's pointing in the direction. So here you can see that's a vector pointing. So I can select a vector, you know, going towards between minus, what is that? Minus Z, minus X, and then just delete that, and anything going in, you know, towards the Z as well. Okay, so come to delete, and then so the attribute's called at tangent U. So I'm going to grab just the X component of that. Okay, and if it's more than, let's say, 0.5, delete non-selected. So that's too much. 0.9. Oh, this needs to be on the point, sorry. Okay, so you can see that now I've just got these horizontal points. If we, it looks like we're deleting too much there. I couldn't get this to work for some reason, but I think I've got it now. So I think it's to do with the point order along these lines, right? We need to, you know, depending on the order of the points, that affects the tangent to attributes, I think. So if we drop a sort and put that after the blast, okay. And with this, we can change how the points are ordered. And I'm going to set it by Z like that. Okay. And then come down here. And yeah, so come down here to this final delete. Get rid of that. And set this to by Z. Okay, so you can see we're getting closer now. And then more than, and then just bring this value down to 0.5. And there we go. Finally, so we've got the lines that we need. So we're going to scatter points along these lines. Okay, so I'm going to drop a scatter just below, so we get some nice random kind of organization going now. I'm going to give it a lot of relaxed iteration so that, you know, this is going to be the position of the cars. This is going to be not the final quantity of cars, because we are going to get an overlap. Okay, so this number is important. You can play around with that, and you know, if you feel like the simulations are going too slow, your render's going slow, whatever you want, less cars, you can bring this number down to 50. You know, play around with that. I settled on a number of 400. Okay, so that's not how many cars we're going to have, because we're going to have lots of, even though we've got these relaxed iterations, we're going to have points really close together. So we're going to have overlapping vehicles. And basically, we're going to just have to go through a process of deleting any cars which are overlapping, right? A quick, easy way to get some variation on these positions is just use a point jitter. Go, connect that up. Obviously, now that's way too much. So we want 0 in X, so that's back and forward. 0 in Y, because we want them sitting on the road, yeah? And then, so we just want it in the Z, so kind of side to side. And then obviously the scale needs to be way less, 0.05, something like that. Okay, so there's just a little bit of difference. So again, this number is important. The quantity of cars there is also important for you, okay? So as I said, we need the normals of the road on this, and we don't have any normals now, in fact. So we need to copy that from the original road, because we need those primitives to calculate this, okay? So if we go back to this polysplit, move this over, connect that into the right input, and this is not all of them, the last one into the first input. And then we need to actually put normals on the road. Okay. They need to be on the points, actually. Okay. We don't want any primitives. We just want the normals. There we go. And then we should be able to see, there we go, the point normals. And you can see they're following that gradual curve. It's quite subtle, but you would notice it with the cars once they're placed on the road. Okay. So let's make some groups now. So as I said, 2 of the roads will have cars going in one direction and 2 in another. So I'm going to group these. Drop a group. Call this forward. Doesn't matter, forward, backwards, whatever. We'll do it in a bounding box. Zoom out. I'm going to turn off those. And just draw this to kind of select those two of the lanes. Okay, maybe if I do spacebar and 2, there we go, that should be easier. Let's template the actual road itself. I just come in closer, so there we go. Come down here, there we go, and then spacebar and 3. Just make it tall, doesn't matter. Okay, so that should be the one group there. And I want points to be selected. There we go, so we can see all that is selected. And then backward, so I'll alt click and drag on that. Turn off the bounding region, okay. And then the base group will be not forward, basically. So everything except for forward. I'll call this backward. Okay, so going in the other direction. All right, so that's the 2 separate groups ready to go. Next, we'll use the new scatter, align, and attribute from pieces SOPs to set up some attributes on these points.